No, but regardless, what today's stream is about and what I'm really excited for is so I guess Gospel Simplicity made this like Iceberg video on traditional Christianity, and it is like the worst thing that I have watched in a long time. This is peak trad simp, peak, real trads respect women kind of content, and we're gonna have so much fun with it. The video is not that long, and if we can maybe like watch something after or whatever, I'm totally down. But it is like Kino cringe content, dude. It's so bad. I mean, like someone sent it to our chat the other day, and I could not believe what I was watching. It was like the peak of just simpy, real trads stick up for women's rights, and they don't engage in Holocaust denial, okay? Real trads stick up for women's rights, and they don't engage in anything that's anti-Semitic, all right? And he talks, like, I don't like the cadence that he talks in. I'm sorry, I am hating on the guy. Like, he talks in this, like, low, like, annoying Protestant youth pastor kind of cadence, like, well, real trads, they stick up for women's rights, and it's a woman's right to choose. That's what real trads do. And we're just going to have to go through it, man. We're just going to have to go through it. Great physiognomy check to begin with. Is it similar to Gen Z Catholic's Iceberg? No, because Gen Z Catholic is awesome. Gen Z Catholic and me, we're boys. We're brothers, okay? We get it. The Catholic Answers Mafia, better leave him alone. I know, dude. It's been kind of difficult recently, right? I like Jimmy Akin. I was walking to my Ford Explorer the other day, and then it exploded, and all I saw was a business card on the ground that says Jimmy Akin sends his regards. Mr. Akin sends his regards. I was walking out to my Ford Explorer, and it exploded all of a sudden. It's like Trent Horn sends his regards. I'm like, damn, dude, this is horrible. We're now in a gang war. I got my groypers on one side. I got my groypers on my side. We got Catholic Answers Mafia on the other. Hey, which side you on? You G, or you C? There ain't no two options. You gotta be G or C in this war. You gotta be G or C out here.
The internet is a strange place, and the corner of the internet that I inhabit with these videos is particularly peculiar. In my videos, I often come across people who are very interested in traditional Christianity, and that's great, and I am interested in it as well, and I've learned a lot from it, and I make these videos because I find it interesting, and you probably watch them because you find them interesting, and I'm glad. But I think...
I'm gonna be blunt, I've never watched this, homie. I have never watched this homie in my life, dude. I'm going to be honest. I have never watched this guy in my life. He kind of always annoyed me, low-key. Godfirst Groiper sent $5. Thank you, buddy. Hi, Pine Chud. I hope all is well. Glad you're streaming again, nigga. Thank you, buddy. I love you, big guy. Yeah, there's going to be more streams. We're excited. We're excited. We're happy about it, dude. It's going to be great. It's going to be so good. We love streams. And we love Indians. We want to send as many H-1B visas as possible. We want to ethnically replace white America. Did you hear this? White America. White America does not work hard. We got to get millions of Jeets in here. We've got to import the Jeets, get them in here. And when I say Jeets, I don't, of course, hate Indian people at all. I'm just messing around. But, he's so quiet. Yeah, that's the thing. He is doing ASMR, bro. He's doing ASMR. Why?
I think it's maybe time for us to address the fact that this corner of the internet can lead people down really strange rabbit holes that we should probably be talking about. Now, normally in my videos, they take the form more of a video essay in which it's scripted and a bit more philosophical. But today, I'm going to try to speak about the internet in the internet's language, and that is primarily that of memes. So today I want to talk about the iceberg of traditional Christianity. This is just I didn't make the format, but the layers of this is something I set up and I think will be familiar to a lot of you. So for a lot of people, the journey of looking into traditional Christianity, and by this I mean forms of Christianity that have long histories and go back for quite some time, that have been around and have formed traditions. So this often starts, I'm going to take a Protestant perspective on this, with maybe reading Calvin and Luther. That's where it started for me during my theology degree. You begin going into the Reformation sources and say, wow, this has a lot more depth than my kind of evangelical upbringing. This is cool. But then that leads you to the next thing. You go, wait, Christianity started before the Reformation. What do we do with this? Then you find these people called the Church Fathers. Now, this is a big step. Maybe you start with someone like Athanasius and his book on the Incarnation, because, I mean, after all, it's recommended by C.S. Lewis, and he's pretty much the Protestant Pope, so that's a safe place to start. But then you realize, wait, the popular patristic series, there's so many of them, let me read them all. You don't read them all, but you read a couple of them, and you decide the Church Fathers are pretty cool. That leads you then below the surface. Cool. So you've read some of the Protestant sources, you've gotten into the Church Fathers, you realize the Church has been around for a long time, but that leads you to realize that the Church is a bit different than your own. And unfortunately, this takes the term when everyone begins to say everything I ever grew up with was wrong. Now, not everyone does this, of course, but one of the things that often happens is that as people begin to be exposed to beauty outside of their tradition or outside
is the Pinesap sleeping? No, I was just texting my friend. Pinesap is texting AOC. You know, hey, it's 2025. Anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. I'm just messy.
Sources that the church they grew up in pulled from, they begin to see that everything in their tradition is wrong. And now, this often happens, right? And it happens on a small scale when we grow up and we have that phase where we say that our parents were wrong about everything. This happened with my dad and I in politics. Everything he thought had to be wrong because, well, he had to be wrong because now I was turning into an adult and I had to define myself as not him, right? And then maybe you come around. Maybe you've had a similar experience. I think it often happens with church as well. It was a running joke in Bible college that the most dangerous thing is like a second semester Bible college student because he thinks he knows.
What is with the like... I know this is rude, man, but like the pray eyes, like the like, and then I had to let my dad know everything was wrong. And then on top of that, it's like the gay like neck, and I had to let everything. My dad was so wrong on politics and stuff like that. Like, oh man, this is why honestly millennials should not be on the internet. Millennials. I don't know what it is with millennials, and I've contemplated this for quite some time, but millennials have this very weird aura to them where it's very gay coded. It's very like gay, kind of like catty, like, oh well, you know, I just think that's so problematic. Like I just don't understand why you would like something like that. That's just very problematic, right? And so they'll talk in that way. They'll talk with sort of like a lisp or a very like effeminate inflection in their voice. And then on top of that, they're all super, super, super emotional. All of them. The only guy who I know who is not super emotional and is a millennial is Beardson. He's the only guy I know who does not get easily offended. He doesn't let things get to him easily. He's very, very like even keel. Doesn't really allow things to like get to him super fast. But I mean, every other millennial, especially in our circles, especially like in the Christian Catholic circles. Oh, Spexo too. Damn, Spexo is a millennial. I didn't even think about that. Spexo too. I always associate Spexo with Gen Z just because he just seems so close to us that I never really even thought that Spexo was a millennial. But yeah, Spexo too. Like Hammy just said it in chat. Like all millennial dudes literally seem like they're on the verge of crying. Like they seem like they're one mean word away from breaking into tears. I don't know what it is. Because, I mean, like, look, someone will call me the N-word, and I'm their best friend 5 seconds later, and we're going and grabbing a beer, right? We'll be, like, making fun of each other in, like, one of my group chats, right? About, like, dude, you're literally Mexican. Like, you're literally brown. Or, like, they'll be like, shut up, white boy. And it's like, I would give the clothes off my back. I would give the clothes off my back to make sure that homie of mine, that brother of mine, was taken care of. Like, I love that guy, right? Millennials can't roll like that. Everything has to be like a personal slight. Everything has to be a little murder. Everything has to be this sort of emotional dagger that's being plunged into their chest. And I don't get it. I don't get where the attitude comes from, to be honest. You know? It's just a very odd reaction to everything. And it's kind of why I don't get along with Gen Xers and millennials. I've just realized. I like it's even been to the point where like some of those guys have just hated me, and I've had like hardly any interactions with them, or I've had like nothing but like kind interact. Like I'll give you an example. Like Rob from Avoiding Babylon apparently hates me now, right? And I thought we were cool. I thought like when I was on Avoiding Babylon, like I thought we were cool. I love it. Like I love Anthony, and I loved Rob too. I was cool with him. And then he like started like crap talking, and he was like, oh yeah, I don't like how he represents the faith or whatever. Why? Because I like don't worship women or something, you know? And so apparently, like, you know, now I've been excised. Now I've been, you know, shoved to the hey, Groiper, get back, get your green booty cheeks on that back of the bus, boy. Hey. Opens the bus. It's Rob sitting there in the driver's seat. Hey, Groiper, get to the back of the bus, pal, okay? We don't have greenies sit up front. Greenies sit in the back. Goipers sit in the back. Man, dude. Honestly, we need like our own Rosa Parks. You know, like Groipers need our own Rosa Parks. Where's my Rosa Parks, dude? I'm being oppressed right now, and I need Rose Nene Parks to stand up for my rights. Like GLM, quite frankly. We have to use the Groiper water fountain and go to the Groiper school where our teacher's Hitler. Our teacher is Hitler, and we're just the most oppressed race. But I think what sucked about that is like I thought we were cool or whatever. I had no issue. Not only did I have no issue with him, I liked Rob. I thought he was cool, but you know, I guess probably because I like didn't like the MS Paint lesbian or whatever. You know, I apparently like hate family or something. You know, it's always the same with these guys. I mean, it happened with Jeremiah. It happened with Rob. It's you know, it's happened with like a ton of millennials. Like, I just do not get along with those generations. I think that they are super dense. I don't think that they understand humor. I don't think that they understand irony. And frankly, it's like, I'm not out, like, I don't want to be out here trying to make enemies either. Like, I want to be friends with everyone and be cool with everybody, but I'm also not trying to get people like me. I'm kind of done with that arc. Like, honestly, if you don't get the irony and you don't understand post-irony and you don't understand our humor and you don't understand how we operate, then it is what it is. I'm not going to try to get you to like us, you know? Harriet Rosa Floyd. Honestly, we need Harriet Rosa Floyd to stand up for us. They also deny, all of those people deny the Groiper cost, dude.
Knows everything, and then they go home over Christmas break and they inform their pastor that they're wrong about everything. Something similar happens when we investigate church history. We begin to say that, the church we grew up in is just cringe. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but that's how we begin to feel. So this stage, especially if you come from like a lower church background, people begin to think, ugh, this is bad. And so you look for something else. And this generally comes in the form of liturgy. Now, what happened for me, and maybe what happened for you, is you go to something like a Latin mass. You go, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is so different. It's in a different language, and it's so deep. Oh my goodness.
Wait.
Latin mass. You go, wow, this is amazing.
What was that reaction? What? Hold on.
And now, what happened for me and maybe something else. And this generally comes. And now, what happened for me and maybe what happened for you is you go to something like a Latin mass. You go, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is so different.
What? Dude, what is going on, bro? What is going on? Wow. Is this like a Broadway is this like a Broadway musical? It's like, wow. Who did it better? Bro, like, this is just me when my girlfriend gets me when my girlfriend and her new black boyfriend buy me the latest Breath of the Wild game. me when the r/Catholicism thread says it's totally heckin' awesome to be gay. When the new r/Catholicism thread drops.
Wow.
Wow. Like, dude, that's crazy, man.
Oh, this is amazing. Like, this is so different. It's in a different language. It's so deep. Oh my goodness. This is awesome. But then you go further down the rabbit hole and you find the divine liturgy of the Eastern Orthodox Church. And you say, like, those emissaries sent from Russia, I don't know if I'm in heaven or on earth, that this is the best thing you've ever experienced. And I'm using a bit, facetious language here, but those things really are beautiful. And you begin to say, whoa, this is different. This is so different. I need something like this. And maybe you go on a different ramp here and you go towards a Protestant liturgy, which I do think is worth saying. Like, a lot of the mainline churches have really beautiful liturgies that we just write off because we've been taught that the mainlines are bad, which might not be entirely accurate. But in any case, this often then comes to a real crux. We're getting far down the iceberg at this point. And that is the East-West decision. And what this means is we've got two groups at this point claiming to be the one true church. You've got the Eastern Orthodox and the Roman Catholics. And historically, they've claimed that they are the one true church. And they've coupled this with the saying, albeit diversely understood, that outside the church there is no salvation, and so you've got to decide. And they both have really good arguments, and people get stuck here for a lot of time, and it can be really difficult, right? But what often happens is that once someone makes this decision, they become really, once again, defining themselves by what they're not. So just like you went from church fathers are cool, so my non-dom is cringe, you go from East is right, so West is heretic, or West is right, so East is heretic. And you have all of these volumes to pull on, right, about how the other side's wrong, and how something like the filioque leads to abortion, or that, the East is really just like not even right. And so you get the point, right? It gets deep and weird at times here when you begin to say,
become discriminatory. Yeah, they're wrong, dude. I mean, it's like, what else is there to say? What else is there to say? If something is the truth, it naturally precludes that everything else is wrong. He's such an indifferentist. He's like, well, again, it's the soy-lennials not being able to like make a commitment to anything unless it's, has to do with women or like gay people, right? Well, it's just not nice to say that other people in their tradition are wrong. Yes, they are wrong. And we're not saying that to be callous or mean or anything like that. We're saying that because quite literally, if you don't follow Catholicism, you will go to hell. If you don't follow the Catholic faith, you are not going to inherit the kingdom of God. I am so tired of this whole, let's just be not ecumenical. Let's be nice. Let's not step on anyone's toes. Let's come together. Kumbaya. No, there's no coming together. There's no kumbaya. You are outside the church of God. And I'm all for having like good ecumenical dialogues when it's like, with Eastern Orthodox, we agree on icons. With Protestants, it might be like pro-life stuff, pro-family stuff. Excellent, great. But at the end of the day, they remain outside the church. At the end of the day, they are not a part of Christ's mystical body. Being nice is not a virtue. Being kind is. I'm not going to go up to an Eastern Orthodox or a Protestant person and say, hey, F you, become Catholic, submit to Rome. Right? These things with gentleness, with grace, with being kind, with being very affable to who we're speaking to. It goes without saying. It goes without saying, right? We should be affable and we should be kind and we should evangelize with gentleness. I'm not against any of that. In fact, I'm for all of that. But being nice is not that. It's being indifferent. It's saying, it's this notion of like everyone has their own tradition and their own way to reach God. And, it's whatever you enjoy the most, like choosing a flavor of ice cream. We're not going to Ben and Jerry's, buddy. Okay? We're not going to Ben and Jerry's. We're not going to Baskin Robbins. This is about life or death. This is about salvation or damnation. What are you talking about? Oh, well, it's, it gets into the whole being mean to other people. And then whenever you like confront guys like gospel simplicity on this, their retort will always be, well, they'll always preface something with saying, well, I'm not saying that we shouldn't speak about truth, but it should be a kind discussion. And they'll always preface it with saying, I'm not saying, but then in effect, in reality, when anyone does then have this conversation, this elusive, mystical conversation that they're talking about, they always counter signal it. They always throw it under the bus. They're always like, that is not Christian. That is not Christian to say that that person, if they're not Catholic, is going to hell. You know what's not Christian? Not leading people to salvation, not leading people to Jesus Christ. That's not Christian. It's not being a pushover soy-lennial baby because people said some mean words on Twitter. People said some mean words. Do you know what St. Jerome used to write about heretics? Do you know what St. Thomas Aquinas used to write about like Averroists and stuff like that? Probably a lot worse than anything most of us say. Probably a lot, and not worst in a bad sense, worst in they would say this person is leading people to hell. This person is not leading someone to salvation. These people are engaged in heresy or schism. That's what they would say. They wouldn't pull this whole, well, everyone just has their own path to God, and we don't want to be mean, and we don't want to step on anyone's toes. Then you don't believe in the gospel. So much for calling yourself gospel simplicity, because the simplicity of the gospel is anyone who follows Jesus Christ, meaning anyone who is incorporated into his mystical body, can be saved, and anyone who is outside of that body will be thrown into the flames of hell. That's a real mean message. For these people, it's the gospel of inclusion. It's the gospel of tolerance. It's the Jesus was a nice hippie and he walked on the sand in sandals and he was never mean to anybody except if those people were mean conservative Pharisees. Then he was really mean. Then he was really ticked off. And it's these people who don't delve into what Scripture actually says. It's these people who don't delve into what Christianity is really about, the heart of Christianity, the sacred heart of Jesus Christ. It's always this upper, just be generically nice to everybody and sing nice sounding hymns at your praise and worship, kind of bland American Protestantism. And that's what this guy's all about.
That everyone else is a heretic. And that leads you to a fun next level where not just like the other half of Christendom is heretical, but actually like 99% of people, including our hierarchs, are heretics. You see this once you get to like sedevacantists in the West, or you have just some really stringent and rigorous people in the East who look at people like the Ecumenical Patriarch or even just most of the metropolitans and say, yeah, they're all heretics. They've all got it wrong because I've read everything and I know, and my prophet on YouTube tells me that they're all wrong. And so, wow, we are deep down the rabbit hole now. We went from Luther and the Church Fathers being cool to everyone, including the leaders of the organizations we're in, being heretics. But hey, I mean, we're just watching the videos and reading the books and we're just coming to the logical conclusions. And then we get to really weird places. And these are the levels that concern me the most as I look out at what's happening.
That's me! That is me! I'm the porpoise! No, that's not a porpoise. I'm the beluga whale! That's me! Who also does... It's the sentient baby meme. Who also doesn't think women should vote? Me! It's like me, my 6'1" self. I'm like in like a baby. I'm like in a diaper, and AOC, she's holding me, and it's like, instead of who wants to go to the Four Seasons Orlando, it's like, who also thinks women shouldn't vote? Me. And then we get into a really problematic area. Then we get into a really problematic area. These people say women shouldn't vote. You know? These people say women should not vote. And they engage in Holocaust denial. And they believe in theocracy. What? People think that women shouldn't vote? Dude, women's votes matter, okay? How are we gonna have abortion? How are gay people gonna get married if women don't vote, dude? What? Hey! Anyone watching right now, if you think that women shouldn't vote, you're a vile, evil person, okay? I want you to wake up every day and feel bad about yourself. How dare you think those precious, awesome trad queens who post themselves half naked on the internet shouldn't vote? You're probably just mad because you're an incel. Okay? I've got my wife, Jack. I've got my wife. And she sometimes lets me sleep in the same bed as her. She sometimes gives me sex. And I just love her so much. And the thought that evil, racist chuds like you, wouldn't want her to vote. Her opinion matters, okay? It's time you sit down and you start opening those ears, okay, buddy? Hollow and wicked. You're so hollow and wicked. So this is what it's come to, right? Holocaust denial, women shouldn't vote, no one should vote, monarchy, no theocracy. It always comes down to that, doesn't it? Always comes down to that. It's always, you know, these people, it's like, oh, if you're like a sedevacantist or whatever, you know, if you're I mean, I don't care about the true Orthodox, but it's like, if you're a sedevacantist, that's bad. But if you think women shouldn't vote, buddy, you're worse than Arius, okay? You're worse than Pelagius. You're the worst heretic that has ever existed.
And these spheres. It's what I like to think of as a kind of purity spiraling. And Trent Horn has talked well about this. And it's this idea of we want to be ever more pure. We want to be ever more different. And the original title I had for this video, when it was going to be more of an essay, was in favor of a non-reactionary traditionalism. Because this is where I want to settle for a second.
Real trads stick up for women's rights. Real trads... It's... The only thing traditional about these people, also, I stopped on a good frame. The only thing traditional about these people is that they go to the Latin Mass. That's it. They're still they still have problems with like the church's teaching on sexual morality. They still have problems on the idea that you shouldn't worship women. They still have issues with like talking about Jews or whatever. It's like they only like the smells and bells, and that's it. And the smells and bells are great, but here's the thing: when I was in college, right, there was a girl who I was an RA with, and she, you know, she was a really nice girl, but she was a liberal, and she was doing like a religious course, right, at our college, and I really, really, really wanted to go to the Latin Mass for the first time because I had never been there. And so, you know, we're going to go to the Fraternity St. Peter Parish. And she was like, oh, sick. I'll drive. It was like me and my buddy Nathan and like a couple other people. And she was like, cool, I'll drive all of us. Cause like, I gotta write a paper for my religion course, and, you know, Catholicism is the section we're covering right now. So, yeah, why don't we need to do that? Why don't we do that? Oh, also, I'll get to Minion Thomas super chat in a minute. I didn't miss that there, big guy. It's me. Hi, I'm the porpoise. It's me, Lux. Well, thank you, Lux, for the $5. I appreciate it, buddy. But anyhow, so she drives all of us to the Fraternity St. Peter Latin Mass. It's gorgeous. It is amazing, mind-blowing, super beautiful, right? And we get done. And she, who is liberal and does not support any Catholic teaching, loves the Mass. She thought it was cool. She thought it was awesome, which is beautiful. I'm glad that she did. But this is what I'm trying to illustrate here. It's hard not to like the smells and bells. It is just aesthetically pleasing. It's aesthetically beautiful. But if you don't love the teachings that give you the smells and bells, if you don't love what hides behind the incense and the ringing of the bell during the consecration, then you don't love the faith. Then you don't love Jesus Christ. And I'm not saying that, it's not a dogmatic belief to deny the Holocaust or something. I'm not even talking about that. But what I am saying is that it's not even about, in what I'm saying right now, about denying the Holocaust or things with things with maybe these particular issues. It's a thing that with Catholic teaching, there are certain controversial positions that you have to take that, yes, make you reactionary and make you stand against the world. And these people do not like those teachings. They're ashamed of them. They treat them like baggage. They treat them like something to be thrown out and sequestered away. And you're not Catholic. Straight up. And I don't think this dude is, but you're not Catholic at that point. You are your own religion. You worship yourself. And I am so tired of these cucks who call themselves traditional, or I want a non-reactionary traditionalism. Can I get a traditional, excuse me. We have to do it like one of their millennial TikToks. Excuse me. Can I get a non-reactionary traditionalism? I'm just quirky like that. How about you grow some balls? How about you have a higher T level than an 80-year-old man? And how about you actually sit your ass in the pew? Sorry, shouldn't curse. Sit your butt in the pew. Sit your butt in the pew and worship God. Why don't you do that? Why don't you zip that lip, sit in the pew and worship God and believe in Jesus Christ? It really should be that simple. Sorry, I don't need the commentary on a non-reactionary traditionalism. We don't need a non-reactionary traditionalism. We don't need that attitude, quite frankly. You need to have some humility. These people are all the same. They have no humility, and they just brazenly believe in whatever feminist, liberal kind of boilerplate politics are popular in their social circles. I bet this guy hangs out with all his buddies to get an IPA and talk about how great their wifeys are. Oh my goodness, my wife is so great. She bought me this shirt the other day and I absolutely hate it, but just so I can sleep with her, I'm going to pretend that I like it. Yeah, that's great. Super. Do me a favor, guys. If that's ever me, please just throw me in prison. Honestly, if you ever see me show up on stream one day and I have a beard and I'm not saying throw gospel simplicity in prison. I'm just kidding when I say this. I want to clarify that. But if you ever see me and I have a beard and I start talking like it's ASMR and I'm buying an IPA and talking about women's rights, please just throw me in prison, okay? Please just throw me in prison. I give you permission to throw me in prison. Cat cans, a hoppy IPA with Adventure Time artwork on the can. Yeah, bro is gonna bro is gonna pull up to the function. bro. Yeah, bro's pulling up to the function being like, let's talk about women's rights again. Let's talk about women's rights. Okay, guys. So I got this Super Flying Monkey IPA. It's got a nice hoppy taste to it. It's got a nice kind of hoppy taste to it. And let's talk about women's rights for a little bit, okay? It's a tale as old as time. And look, I don't hate gospel simplicity. Like, I've been kind of making fun of them or whatever, but it just pisses me off because it's like, these people are so stringent on, like, not casting off the old man. Not truly, like, converting and saying enough with what the world has to say. And no, to cut through what they would characterize my beliefs as, I'm not saying you have to deny the Holocaust. I'm not saying you have to, to be a faithful Catholic. I'm not saying that you have to, like, beat your wife or whatever to be a faithful Catholic, but it's like, stop worshiping women. Stop caring about what the modern world has to say about you. Stop, defining your morality based on a 21st century conception that is completely foreign to the Catholic mind. Right? And it's just that simple. It's just that simple. It's like, can you please divorce yourself from these things that have nothing to do with the faith? That's all I'm asking for. Look, you don't need to be into, like, all the circles or whatever I'm into. I know they like to think that my unironic belief is that you have to be like a 1488 neo-Nazi to be a faith. That's not anything I've ever said, okay? That's honestly here nor there for me. I just want these people to stop the LARPing of of defining their whole worldview based on, like, post World War II morality, like where feminism is the greatest thing since sliced bread, or we have to we can't be too radical. We have to be moderate on things. We can't be too radical. This just lukewarmness and this inability to, I think, in my mind, truly stand up for our faith and in a way that is full of integrity. Let's see here. Hockey sent $5. Hey, Pinesap, it's Hockey here. By the power invested in me as an honorary rad trad of Saptopia, I declare all trad cucks excommunicate and anathema. Let's flip and go. Hockey has just excommunicated all the trad cucks, dude. Honestly, total Saptopia victory. We are raising the Saptopia flag right now. We're raising the Saptopia flag. And I'm on top. It's like Iwo Jima, but it's like me with a shaved head and neo-Nazi tattoo. It's me. It's American History X Sap, and I'm like, we need to fight for our people of Saptopia. Our race will never die. And I'm on top there, raising the Saptopia banner. I'm like a Chud Arno Brecker statue raising the flag of Saptopia. No, but thank you for the $5, buddy. That's awesome. I missed Minion Thomist's super chat here. Let me see if it'll play out again on stream. Oh, I clicked the refresh button. It didn't come up again. Minion Thomas sent $50. Thank you, buddy. Pinesap needs to denounce big women. Return to skinny. Love you, Sap. Well, I love you too, buddy. That's just not gonna happen. Okay? I'm sorry. That's just not gonna happen. I don't know. I don't know if I need to get into it, but those girls, I just know what's up. Okay. I just know what's up. People don't get it. People hate on it, but it's like, you gotta just know to know, you gotta just know to know. They're just different. They just hit different. It's bros be wanting. I mean, look, if you want the science class skeleton, be my guest. Hey, plenty more for you, big guy. But me, I gotta have a little bit more. Okay, I gotta have a little bit more. I'm taking after Nick. I mean, like that reminds me of that tweet when Nick was after he got done with the Fresh and Fit stream, and there was that guy who like zoomed in on like that like kind of bigger black girl, I think on like his right, and and like the guy was like, look at Nick here, like he claims to be an advocate for the white race, but here he is with this like black girl and stuff like that. What do you have to say for yourself? And then he just types back, he's like, you couldn't handle all that. I'm just saying, Sap can handle all that, you know? I can handle all that. I'm just built different, okay? That's my mood right now. I can handle all that. Tearing down the Mr. Incredible poster gif. So true, buddy. But anyway, we'll get back to the video.
I am all for people seeking out traditional forms of Christianity and finding deep rootedness in the history of the church and pulling on vast wells of resources in the great traditions, right? These are all beautiful things. But what concerns me is that so often our traditionalism isn't rooted in finding goodness, truth, and beauty in something, but rather in trying to reject the ugliness of the world that we see around us. And I get it, right? There's a lot of weird things happening in the world right now that are cause for concern, and I think people want to find something that feels better than that. But what begins to be at times perhaps unhealthy is when this takes on this like overriding sense of I need to reject everything about the world, and I am going to measure my own fidelity to the tradition, my own faithfulness to the gospel by my hatred of everything else. And we can get into weird places here when we combine that with a purity spiraling. If I have to one up everyone, right? I have to be even more traditional, even deeper into the sources. I have to find this one thing, or I have to kind of take on these more and more stringent stances. And it leads to things like, and it's sad, but go on the internet, you'll find this, people denying the Holocaust because they want to be so radical. They want to be so based, right? Brent Horn talked really well about this in a recent video. And then we get the things about like weird stances towards women. We get like, not just that modern feminism is bad, right? But actually anything promoting women is bad. And actually women shouldn't vote, but we can't stop there. Actually, not only should women not vote, but no one should vote because we should have a monarchy. Wait, no, we shouldn't have a monarchy. We should have a theocracy. Where are we getting to these things, people? This is deep down the iceberg. You'll see that we're actually below it. Dude. And then when you begin to question these things, you get the final layer of the iceberg. That is, the church fathers said mean things sometimes. They cursed, right? So let me call you vulgar names for not agreeing with all of the above.
Oh my.
And at this point, I just want to tell people like,
Holocaust denial, saying women shouldn't vote, taking more traditional positions. Dude, this is 2025, okay? You're not allowed to do any of that. Hey, it's 2025, okay? Time to quit. Time to put the toys away, LARPers. How many of you are married, okay? I don't see a ring on that finger. How many of you are married? Me? I'm a proud wife guy, okay? I come home every night. I get home every night and get emasculated every single year just a little bit more. How many of you can say that about yourselves? I mean, like, this is beyond parody. This is really beyond parody. It's like we hate those evil things about liberalism and about our world because we love God. Like the love of God comes first, and that's why we hate evil. I mean, has this guy ever read the gospel? Being dead to sin, being dead to the world, is that a concept that goes through? And again, to all the defender, oh my goodness, Pinesap is saying you have to deny the No, I'm not once again saying that doesn't have anything to do with our faith, right? I am just right now talking about like things like not being controlled by feminism or not being controlled by liberal morality. That's all I'm saying. I'm not claiming that you're a heretic if you believe certain things or deny certain things about the Holocaust, whatever, right? All I'm talking about here and all we're settling on is we're cutting to the heart of why do you feel the need to constantly seek approval from this world? That isn't what our Lord taught you. Like, I hate liberalism and I hate the world because I love God. If the world was good, I wouldn't hate the world. I'm not doing any of this to be a contrarian. I'm not doing any of this to just be a hater. I'm doing all this because this world is rotten and kills children. This world is rotten and commits sins that make Sodom and Gomorrah look like a paradise. That's why I'm against the world. I'm not against the world just because I'm a contrarian or a hater or whatever this guy, thinks we are. Right? We hate the world because the world is evil. And these lukewarm YouTube guys, you have to understand the reason they have a platform is because they want to be liked by the world. They want the world to love them. They want flowers and roses, and following Jesus Christ is thorns and whips. It's thorns and lashes. It's not pretty. It's not easy. It's not sunshine and rainbows and lollipops and all that kind of stuff. It's people calling you a bigot. It's people calling you reactionary. It's people calling you all kinds of names, all because you love his holy name. And you shouldn't care. You should pray for those people and you should love those people despite what they say to you and continue to fight for the kingdom of God. But these people are too controlled by what other people think about them. And I really do think it is so bad that it actually affects their faith. I think it's like a spiritual illness for these people. Just stop caring what the world has to say about you, dude. The world has nothing to offer you, but Jesus Christ has everything for you. And if you follow him, you're going to have immeasurable graces upon graces upon graces and happiness like you could never know in this world. But if you follow the world, any happiness that you have in this life will come for naught at the judgment. And so I'm intent upon following Jesus. I don't know whatever this is, what he wants to go do. Apparently it's let's be as accommodating to the world that literally hates us as possible. That's, not my cup of tea, quite frankly. I don't know what Bible you're reading from, but that's not the, it's not the Bible that I know. Trace McGoatley sent $5. Teach me your fake cell ways, Mr. Sap. There's no ways, brother. I'm just I don't know. I'm just doing what I do, No, I'm kidding. I'm just messing around. But it really is that simple. You're going to be placed in opposition to the world. You're going to be, and they'll always be like, yeah, but not because you said offensive things. Let me ask you something for a moment. Do liberals really have a problem when we do canned food drives? Are they trying to burn down our churches because we did a canned food drive for the homeless? They'll always try to recenter the conversation about you're being hated for the world because you did charity with the homeless or whatever. And it's maybe in a certain era that was true. I don't know what era you're living in, but that's the least problematic thing for the people who hate us. For the people who hate us, they don't care that we do canned food drives for the homeless or run soup kitchens. They hate us because because we think abortion is murder. Because we don't think love is love. Because we don't, kneel at the altars and golden calves that they kneel towards, right? And it's I don't get, what liberal is storming our church saying, I hate Catholics because they give to the homeless sometime, right? So when they try to kind of recenter the conversation about us being hated by the world, it's we're hated by the world because we advocate for poor people. It's I haven't seen any protests of people being I can't stand those Catholics. They care about homeless people. Again, there might have been an era where that was true. And in that era, I would have continued to still advocate and I would have still continued to advocate for the human dignity of homeless people. Of course, I always will, rain or shine, whether it's popular or unpopular. That's not what we're being attacked for, though. Like, we're distinctly being attacked in this time for the reasons I just mapped out. And so if you're unwilling to be offensive in that in that way, that says a lot more about you than it does about any of us so-called reactionary trads.
Let's take a breath, right? Like, let's come up for air here. I'm glad we're interested in these things, but let's get some perspective. Let's maybe sign off the internet for a moment. Let's get around some real people, and let's just say, okay, maybe some things in modernity are bad. Maybe our culture.
It's always the get around real people, right? Let's get off the internet and let's hang out with some people. Dude, I hang out with people all the time. You kidding me? That's actually sometimes part of my problem. You know? Or not part of my problem. That's sometimes part of my problem of like why I'm not doing more content. It's like my best friend will call me up. Hey dude, let's hang out on a Saturday night, right? Let's take a little bit off the internet and let's hang out with some real people. Yeah, I do that all the time. I don't know what you're talking about. I do that all the time. I hang out with real people pretty much like a lot. They always have to try and do this like emasculating, like, let me invalidate your point because you don't have real friends. You don't hang out with real people. You don't hang out with real people, right? You just have your internet Discord friends. You just have your friends on Telegram. Well, they don't even know about Telegram. They think it's like Discord or something. You just have your friends on Reddit. No? Yeah, I have friends on the internet. I have a lot of people in my real life that love and care about me, and I love and care about them. And I have the exact same values and feelings and thoughts that I do out there as I do on here. I put my face out on the internet, dude. Like, I'm clearly not ashamed of anything that I believe. And I tell that to people IRL too. This is such a, again, this is like a Gen X boomer point. Like, Buddy's got to step away from the keyboard with the Cheeto dusted fingers. Oh, why? So I can have my back be broken by my wife, my nagging wife, and be a shred of a man. Why? So I can get married to a nagging feminist who's gonna, bust my balls for everything? Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I'm actually good, pal. More women for you, right? More women for you, buddy. Okay? You got all the women. Hey, my incel, I mean, sorry. Stolen valor. I know. I'm claiming stolen valor for a moment, but my incel booty will just be over here. It's more women for you, okay? You don't have to compete with me, because if you did, you wouldn't be winning that battle. We're coming out here. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not participating in that battle because, like, if you did, shoot, man, you would have already lost. You know what I'm saying? Because we have that incel riz. Like, girls see you playing Hearts Iron 4, and they're like, that guy just needs to wife me up, right? Dude, you might not believe this. This is honestly, I'm gonna drop some trukes right now. I'm gonna drop some truth nukes. Girls see you in the pizza-stained sweatshirt, and they see you in your basketball shorts playing Hearts Iron 4, and they're wondering, when can that guy wife me up? When can that guy give me 20 Aryan children to save the white race? That's a truth nuke I think all of you guys needed to hear, because these chuds, they're out here trying to convince you that girls hate that. Girls love that, dude. Okay? It's called incel riz. You have climbed over caring about what a woman's opinion is of you, and you've just ascended. And she sees the raw alpha male that you are when you're holding your chicken nuggets and your Diet Dr. Pepper, and she knows what's up, you know?
Is heading in the wrong direction. Maybe we've made some mistakes. Maybe we've imbibed some ideas based on principles or notions that we actually think are faulty, and so we should come up with better ones. This is all great, and let's find good and true and beautiful things in the Christian tradition. But let's not just be reactionary for the sake of being reactionary. Let's not.
Who's doing that?
How we can one-up everyone and being more and more traditional to the point that we lose sight of why we're doing any of this and what we're actually for. It can be very dangerous when we only define ourselves by what we are against. It takes on a very hostile attitude, and people that disagree with us aren't just wrong, but they're dangerous. And you don't reason with dangerous people often, right? You kill them. I mean, that's what happens in war, right? We go past the stage of reasoning and diplomacy, and we go to the methods of war, which is ultimately ends in death. But we've done this with our ideologies as well. Rather than seeing people as people who disagree, people who have different ideas and who we can reason with, we see them as dangerous, and we take on really combative attitudes. And we increasingly, it seems, see everyone as dangerous. And it's our job to take them all down and tear down each and every one of them. And it's like, guys, let's slow down, okay? And so really that's the message of this video.
What is he talking about? This is literally, bro is literally, I'm not even kidding. This is repackaged words are violence. Words are violence, guys. Yeah, because when I disagree with someone on the internet, my next reaction is like some cringe guy on Twitter is like, yeah, you're stupid because you're traditional and stuff like that. It's like, Google, send me this guy's docs. I'm going to be sending a pizza, but it's not going to be a pizza. Like, I've never thought about killing someone because they said something. What are you talking about? What fantasy universe does this guy live in? It's ultimately the language of war. Okay? It's ultimately the language of war. And war leads to violence, and that's going to lead to killing people. How is that going to lead to killing people? Me making a meme of like your cringe bottom text is going to be like, I hate that guy so much. I'm going to destroy him. I'm going to destroy his life. I'm going to dox his family. I'm going to get him fired from his job. It's like, no, I don't. What? You're taking this a lot more seriously than any of us take seriously. Do you know what happens when I like quote tweet and then block someone on X? I go get a smoothie after. I go play a video game. I go take a walk in the park. I don't care. It's just silly. It's just funny, dude. Like, these people are beyond parody. And look, like with vulgarity and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, don't be vulgar. And I probably have been name calling them a little bit. That's not right. But like, you know, don't name call. Don't be vulgar and stuff like that. You know, that goes without saying. Just, you know, be charitable, but like being charitable is also not being this emasculated pushover. Being charitable means that you always want to will the good of another person, and your words and language should reflect that. And, you know, if they don't reflect that, that's what needs to be edited. Of course, I do agree with that, but this rhetoric of just like, if you want to, you know, move further into what it truly means to be Catholic, that's going to lead to violence and you're going to purity spiral and you almost have to, like, I guess in his mind, like adopt this like centrist position between modernity and upholding the faith. Yeah, I'm good. I'm not doing that. These people are just like unreal, man.
Guys, let's slow down, okay? And so really that's the message of this video. I know it's different than some of my normal ones, but it's something that is increasingly concerning to me. I think that in the midst of all of this, we can lose sight of the character of Jesus. We can lose sight of why are we interested in these things. It's not even about faith at the end of the day, it seems, for so many people. It's about winning a culture war. And we see this with various figures who convert to Christianity or who become spokespeople for Christianity but aren't even Christian and seem entirely motivated by some war against wokeness or against the left or against this or that cultural ideology. And they use Christianity as this like blunt weapon and this source of legitimacy for the war. But guys, like, we are first and foremost followers of Jesus, right? Like, isn't that why we're interested in traditional Christianity? Not to win a culture war, but to be more faithful to Christ? And if it's not that, then like, why are we doing this? Why don't we just call it what it is? You know, call it a culture war.
Nobody believes in that, dude. We're waging the culture war because we love Jesus. This dude just wants us to lay down our arms. Do you understand? Like, I could be like any other degenerate liberal right now. They would love nothing, like, they would love nothing more than for every single one of us to just become the next Hunter Avallone. They would not love nothing more than that. They would love nothing more than for you to just be some degenerate liberal who's like, yeah, I used to be conservative and traditional, but then I grew up, and now I'm having premarital sex and I'm smoking pot all the time and it's really great and awesome. Like, I wage the culture war because I love Jesus. I don't wage the culture war because I'm out here thinking to myself, oh man, yeah, Jesus, well, that's over there. But like, I just want to destroy libs. I've made fun of conservatives, like mainstream conservatives, for that reason. They don't population, Alex Stein, oh, let me wear the woman's dress to pretend like I identify as a woman to own the libs. Approach to the culture war. And then it's like Jesus, it's like, oh yeah, Christianity's nice, but like, c'est la vie, let everyone do what they heckin' want, let people live. Like, we criticize them because they're not devoted to Jesus, because they don't care about Christ, because they want to put Christ on the side and just go do their own thing and live their own way. And that's not appropriate. That's not what a follower of Christ does. We put Christ first because we want him to reign in this world. We want him to reign in the hearts of every single human being. That goes without saying. But these people think being a like passive sissy is actually following the heart of the gospel. It's not. Passivity is not following the heart of the gospel, dude. Sorry, my hair keeps falling on my forehead. It's annoying. Okay, there we go. I don't know why I keep dropping. I gotta see about fixing that. This is nice guy Christianity. This is nice guy. We don't want to step on anyone's toes. We don't want to get anyone riled up or whatever. And when I say all those things, I'm not going out of, I agree. Don't go out of your way to rile up people or go out of your way to just make people pissed off for the sake of being pissed off. That's not charitable. But you know what's also not charitable towards God? When people do get angry, when people do get frustrated, when people do start to have a problem with you, you're the first to like keel over and lay down like a hurt puppy. Laying down like a little puppy or whatever and just rolling over because that's easier to do than standing up for the gospel is sickening. There's no virtue or honor in that. That is just a sickening approach to everything that is going on in our world. That is just a very disgusting approach that doesn't have anything to do with Christianity. It's easy to be just like passive and, kind of go along with the culture and go along with, what everyone wants you to do. That's not what Christ calls us to, right? Christ calls us to be different and set ourselves apart. And that does mean that people are going to hate you and you're going to rile people up. So be it, dude. Follow Jesus. Follow Jesus when it's popular. Follow Jesus when it's unpopular. Follow Jesus if the entire world is following him. Follow Jesus if you are the last Christian on earth. But this nice guy Christianity has nothing to do with the gospel, has nothing to do with the Bible. It's a creation from men without chests, men who don't want to stand up for what's right. And they would rather just like kind of passively, roll over and let everything happen. I'm done with it, dude.
Call it a war against whatever ideology, but let's not call this just being traditionally Christian, right? To be traditionally Christian might put you at odds with a lot of things. And it might have you take countercultural ideas, and it might have you be passionate about things. Those are all good. But the primary objective shouldn't be beating down the left. The primary objective should be fidelity to Christ, of ever deeper intimacy with him. And I'm scared that we're in danger of just losing the plot here. And so hopefully in this language of the internet, its first language, that of memes, we can maybe, just maybe, get a little sense of, yes, let's remember why we're here. Let's focus on what really matters. And let's maybe avoid unhealthy extremes.
Oh my goodness.